since we live in Utah, you realize that the real estate markets could be in flux.
Yes. Although when I did the ad and I did the little bit with Dan Kidder Communications, I did not realize that Flux was an actual town.
Yeah.
But it's like Redmond, not Redmond. It's like there's like another random town that has like an entire two people in it
Like
in the
Baker.
Sevier County, or like Baker or Lund, or like there's these like one-off towns that were places where people stopped and said, "This is the new town." Um,
No idea.
it's over by Tooele. In
I
fact,
just Googled it.
the
Flux, Utah.
And
yeah.
Jesse's probably trying to pick up a real estate listing there right now.
Well, of course. I mean, we're listing all across the state of Utah. That's the thing about real estate agents is you're licensed in the entire state, much like an insurance agent. You are licensed to do business from border to
By
border.
the way, you're very snobbish this morning. I offered you croissants, you said no. I offered you green onions, you said no.
And, I live on a coffee morning diet. So I'll drink, and we've already had the coffee conversation. You hate coffee. And so I try not to bring it in
Well,
anymore,
I don't
actually.
hate coffee. It's just, didn't we tell you the story?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No,
It's
it's
a psychological thing.
right, exactly. But I'm now cognizant of that, and so I try not to bring it into the
Oh, I
studio.
don't care. No, it's
know.
weird because as much as like I said, I still have this reaction when if I'm around a coffee cup near my face, it's like I'm gonna throw up.
Right. So I try not to
So
make
how
it
far
fun.
away does it have to be before you're not throwing up?
Oh, not that far because
Okay.
I've had two coffee one at the TV station, one at the restaurant where I've made coffee, and I love
Okay.
making it.
Okay,
I have no
okay.
problem making it.
Fair.
In fact,
It's just drinking it.
in the morning it smells kind of good. So
Well,
Okay,
know.
good.
So what's really cool about that specifically is Dr. T has proven that he's never quit, Jesse. Right? He doesn't like the thing, but he's never quit. He's never refused to not make coffee
oh no,
because of his past.
no. If you said we don't have coffee making first, but
Well, no, but I love that you totally segued without even knowing what we were talking about today.
oh, okay.
So-
Yeah, never quit. Or
Right.
don't quit.
Don't quit. Welcome to Wired Wednesday with McKinnon Hansen and Jesse Paul from the Larkin Group at KW Realty. Today we
Hello,
have a
everybody.
really deep topic. It's going to kind of affect everybody, I think.
Yeah, it could, it should, right? Because I think all of us have one time or another either thought about quitting something or actually quitting something. And it started making me think, how many times in my life have I actually quit something only to later go, man, what did I do that for? Why didn't I hang on just a little longer?
It goes into why we start things and where we're passionate about them at the beginning, and then halfway through we start lessening the momentum, or we stop being so invested in this topic or this something that we've strived for, and then we end up quote unquote failing to achieve what we've asked. But did we truly fail, or did we learn how to do it differently, or did we learn something about our system or process that actually did us a disservice in trying to attain those goals?
Yeah. So this topic actually came, our partners at Place, Christopher Suarez had a call with Brendan Burchard about 20 days ago or so, and the topic was don't quit. Because, and we were talking about it because the real estate industry, when interest rates went up so high, really changed. And it's been a difficult transition for a lot of people, a lot of real estate agents, a lot of people in every business in the real estate world, including construction. It was a really hard time the last 2 years trying to
Renegotiate.
to navigate the change in the market. And a lot of people won't talk about what's really going on. They always want to talk about the positive things, right? But most of us at some point think, man, I just can't do this anymore. I'm done. Whether that's with our work, whether that's with our personal life, our when I say personal life, I mean personal life, internal, whether that's with our relationships. At some point, we've often said, okay, I'm done, I quit. In our mind.
And what's really entertaining about that is, to me, every day I wake up and I'm like, am I qualified to be a parent? Right? Am I capable of being a parent? And sometimes I quit,
That's a good one.
but sometimes I don't like, but to me, quitting is quitting for 5 minutes and kind of giving it a 5 minute funeral and being like, okay,
Mhm.
that didn't work. Let's try something else. And one thing, and I was sitting on the trampoline this morning with my daughter Kennedy, and we were talking about reasons that we don't quit, or reasons we figure out different paths in life or different strategies,
Yeah.
because quitting isn't failure, and failure isn't quitting. It's deeper than that. You know, failure is figuring out how not to do something. Quitting is completely shutting off that artery, to me, you know.
Well, that's actually you brought up every day I wake up and am I capable, or am I competent, am I good enough to be a mom? And I always think about, and I think this is because, my parents, and they lived in a way of, this is just who I am. And being a parent is a good example, because you can't be the same parent to a newborn as you are a toddler, as you are um, a teenager, as you are an adult,
Well,
right?
and for
You
you,
have to change who you are being if you want to be effective.
well, and what's really cool about bringing that specific thing up is I go back on my childhood, right? I I got you as a dad when I was 14, and you couldn't have been the dad that I needed when I was 5, right?
No, there's no way. Because when you were 5, I was heavy into my other
Right.
life.
Right. And so, but like that makes it made such a huge transition. So when you did come into my life and you were you were the parent I needed at that age, right? And you've been the parent that I've needed throughout 14 to now I'm 34 this year. 20 years you've been a part of my life. In
Mhm.
fact, I believe in June it will be full 20 years, and our first adventure was a rock climbing activity.
19, June would be 19 years.
Oh, okay, sorry. 19.
Yeah. So I think you were 15, actually.
So it goes into that, you showed up the way you needed to, but you never quit on me. And you've
Right.
never quit on our family, and you continue to show up and I think that, and I'm bringing this up because you and mom have both taught me, it's not necessarily quitting, it's pivoting. Did this work or
Right.
did this not work? And then shifting how I showed up in that situation, and if I
Mhm.
needed to shift, or if I needed to communicate differently to force a shift to show up better.
Yeah. A few years ago, I was learning the question, if I could change the meaning of this, would I feel differently? Whatever that is that's bothering me, if I could actually change the meaning that I'm placing on it, would I feel different?
Right.
And if the answer is yes, then I actually have control. Because most of the time, the meaning that I place on something is actually not true anyway. It's
Right.
based on my beliefs, it's based on my history, it's based on whatever, but it's not actual fact.
Well, and it's going into putting your glasses on and seeing people through your glasses rather than their glasses.
Right? So if you can see something one way and I can see something another way, then it's not actually factual. Versus something that is fact, let's say gravity, right? There's no question that gravity is a thing.
Right.
It doesn't matter how you see it. If you jump off the roof, you are going to fall. And you're going to fall at the same capacity, probably not the same velocity. I think that depending on how much you weigh, you'll be faster, but
Right.
you're going to fall, right? Versus the circumstance can be totally different. based on the way that I look at it or the meaning that I assign to it.
So when
Which goes, go ahead.
I was going to say, so when we talk about quitting, is it as immutable as gravity? Is quitting one of those
Say
things?
more.
Is quitting one of those things that we have to do, or can we choose to not quit?
Okay, so let's go back to one thing that Brendan Burchard said. He said, if it could change based on your systems or processes, you should actually not quit. You should really go all in on systems and processes, whether that's your work, whether that's your relationship, whether that's your personal relationship with yourself. What if you were to go all in for the next 6 months on the process itself?
So
And
processes
then reevaluate.
would include, for me, daily affirmations or
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about the personal processes, right? Daily affirmations, journaling, exercise,
self-care,
service, right?
filling
When
your
I
cup.
feel really negative, when I get up in the morning, I feel really negative. If I'll actually make 4 or 5 gratitude calls where I'm just calling people to let them know that I'm grateful for them in my life. By the third call, I'm snapped out of that negativity and I'm back into my positive zone. Or I can choose to just hold on to it and spend all day really, in a bad state.
And see, to me, one of mine is I'm not necessarily a phone call, but I'm a card. So I'll write thank you cards,
Right, gratitude cards, right?
And I try to write 10 a week. Sometimes I get backlogged. I've just finished a set of 35 because I got really backlogged. And then I found a bunch of extra things that I needed to be grateful for. So
It's a lot of cards.
sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, but it always works. I find a quiet place. Yesterday it was on my patio in the beautiful afternoon that it was. But you just sit there in gratitude and thankfulness and making sure people know that they're loved. For me, it's making sure moms and my friends know that they're loved and that they know that they're capable, because sometimes we get so far into our own negativity pot that we can't see out of it. We're kind of like the ostrich in the dirt type of a thing.
Right. And could that actually be driving the wanting to quit?
Right, because you can't see a way out.
Negativity pot, are we actually causing ourselves to want to quit on whatever it is?
It very well could. And I think that that's where, I'm not saying anything bad about, the news necessarily, but the news feeds.
I'm sorry, we have to interrupt you here. On this show, it's the alleged news.
Sorry, the alleged news. But,
Hmm.
It feeds on fear. None of it is, there's only one person I know of that actually does positive mindset stuff, and he is on iHeartRadio, and it's the Bobby Bones Show, and he spends an entire 20 to 30 minutes about what's going on positive in the world. A whole 30 minutes, but at least he tries.
That's cool.
But it goes into what you focus on expands. So if you're being fed through the scroll troll, the news, your circle of friends, your everything, all of this negativity, of course we want to quit. Quitting seems so much easier than going through that. I don't want to cross the Grand Canyon.
Well, and also quitting seems a lot easier than actually changing. Because some of the habits, for instance, negative thinking, always looking for the bad or always looking for the other shoe to drop, is such a deep-seated habit. It's not easy to change that. It just doesn't happen because I'm going to change. No, it's every day of redirecting your thinking, redirecting your actions.
And it takes a lot of energy to do that.
It takes a lot.
And it has to do with how attentive or how present we are in the moment to catch our snap reaction to that.
And also the purpose behind it. How deep is the purpose behind wanting to change?
Ooh. So how easy is it to quit, and versus how easy is it to go through those mindset shifts, or that I am capable of changing, or I'm capable of not quitting? You know, one thing that comes to mind is, you know, our divorce rate, right? It's
Mhm.
super high.
What, 50%, 52%?
Or more, you know, depending on all of the different elements associated with that, right? And I often say, you know, I'd rather learn how to fight better. And it's not that I fight with my spouse, right? When we have arguments, it's, you know, we're pretty opinionated and everything else. But I would rather learn to fight with him better, meaning I want to make sure I am showing up better for him in an
Mm.
argument so that we can grow together, right? I wish people would learn how to fight better or argue better, because that would take them owning how they're showing up for
You need that graphic
those.
book that we just finished about a year ago.
Oh,
Is
From
it-
a family who we got watching when they were on the Amazing Race, but we found out that they do a lot of very funny videos and things like that, but they invite people into their life. But they also have some really cool, interesting insights. They wrote a book called Everybody Fights, So Why Not Get Better at It?
Oh, the
Ooh.
Holderness family?
Yes, you got it, Jen.
oh, I'll have to pick it up. Add it to my book list. But it goes into, if I'm going to have a disagreement with my dad, Jesse, right? I need to show up prepared to learn and create, because every type of friction you can create synergy from. And we can both learn to grow into being a better person for what this world really needs, right? If I remain average or sedentary or not willing to fight for things, or not willing to change, or not willing to do things like quitting, right? I'm all talking about like the willingness to quit is so easy, right?
Yeah.
If you can flip your mindset around quitting and being like, I need to find a different path to achieve this, you know, not all paths are the same, but all lead to the same destination.
Look at the processes, look at your thinking.
Right. Going back to
If you could
specifically.
change some of those things, then it would start to change how you feel or how you think about quitting. Do you really have to quit? Is it really the best thing to quit?
Well, and two of the things that come to mind when I want to change myself is, what book can I pick up and who can I surround myself with?
Mhm.
Or what books haven't I been reading and who am I surrounding myself with? If it's the negative, you know, Debbie Downers, negative ninnies, all of these things surrounding my life, no wonder I can't get my head out of the sand.
True.
Right? So if I choose just two people, if I choose two people to surround myself with more so than the other 5 drainers, if I find 2 people that fill my cup up, or 2 things that fill my cup up, like service, like gratitude journals, like showing up in a better light or a better mindset, it's really hard for me to quit. Right? Quit meaning an absolute, I am not going to move any further in this. Can I have pivots? Can I have shifts?
Well, and can I jump in here? I mean, I understand what you're saying. What you're also not saying is that there are certain things that we do need to quit in our lives at some times.
Time suck.
Yes.
Time suck things. Absolutely. Things that are detrimental.
Well, that
Absolutely.
goes back to the evaluating your processes, right? Really evaluating, being honest about it.
Is this filling my cup or taking away? Negative things take away from our stuff. Our negative habits are, I'm going to show up and, you know, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but there's people out there that smoke 3 packs a day, right? Is that really fulfilling their higher purpose in people who they're surrounding themselves with?
What about
Right.
people that
It's whatever you want to do. And I love people regardless. I love them for showing up and being a human.
even if I agree on
Absolutely.
Yep.
100%.
I'll just sit far enough away where it won't matter. I can't smell very good anyway.
Right. But it goes through, you know, all of the different ways that we can show up. And are we filling other people's cups, or are we taking away from their cups? Are we
Right.
quitting on our friends, or are we allowing them to put their head in the sand and be there? Because we can't force them out. They have to choose. At some point, it's a personal choice, because I can only fill people's cups up so much before I need to be filled. Right? It's the ability to add positive energy into people's life. And so we can show up better and not quit. You know, so going back in our systems and processes, I should be filling people's cups and also surrounding myself with people who fill my cup, not drain my cup. I should be showing up in a better light and not quitting, but necessarily pivoting or shifting and going through those processes and systems that are in my life, like waking up. Am I waking up on the wrong or the right side of the bed? Right? Am I choosing to feel good about myself, you know, with positive or negative mindset? Am I choosing to feed my body what it needs or what it doesn't need? Am I choosing to fill my staff, the people that work for me? Am I showing up as a strong leader for them? Or am I choosing to shirk away from those responsibilities?
You know, going back to, am I waking up on the wrong side of the bed? How long am I actually staying there when I do? And we can't control how we wake up or the mood we're in when we wake up. That's a natural thing. But we can definitely control how long we stay in.
Right. So where's the choice? We're asking our listeners, where is the choice for you to choose? Right? Are you going to show up better or are you going to show up the same? Are you going to remain average or are you going to step up? What does that look like? How hard is that going to be? Is it worth the fight? Because what's incredible to me is in a world of average, mediocrity is winning right now. And the world needs us to become more than average. We need to get rid of the mediocrity.
As always here, you always look at me like I'm about to blow things up.
I don't mind.
Okay.
Wow.
Just remember that there's a subjectiveness in words like average or better than average or that. I mean,
Absolutely.
Statistically, I mean, you can look at a set of numbers and say, okay, that's the average of that set of numbers. I get that.
Agreed.
But when we say what's average or what's better, there's some subjectiveness to that. So the measuring point to me is you versus you.
Agreed.
The only measuring point
That's
that
the only
actually should
measurement.
matter.
Exactly right.
How happy do you want to be?
Okay.
What are you willing to do to get it? And I would say the fight that you're talking about is well worth it.
Agreed.
Being on the other side of
And
it.
all I'm asking, and I will define this clearer, all I'm asking is showing up 1% better every day. Be better. This has been McCann Hansen and Jesse Paul with Wired Wednesday from the Larkin Group at KW Realty. I'm also your local insurance agent with Farm Bureau Financial Services, 435-592-2021. Thanks for joining us for Wired Wednesday.
One last time, let's get a check. What's happening on the highways? Captain Craig has got that information for us.